Voting. It's the foundation of our democracy, a chance for citizens to make their voices heard and support candidates they believe in. But this hopeful expression of civic duty doesn't always play out that way.
Crooked Hillary.
You can put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of the poor.
And lock her up is right.
In 2016, voters had to choose between two of the most disliked and polarizing candidates in history. And polls did show only a minority of voters in either party were satisfied with their options.
I did vote for Trump.
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
I wasn't so sure.
I did a kicking and screaming.
Oh, I actually didn't vote on that one. No, I didn't.
You didn't vote?
No.
Sure, you could vote for a third-party candidate, but that can have unintended consequences. It's true we've had the same system in place for a long time, but it might be worth asking, is there a better way? Most U.S. elections use a plurality system in which voters choose one candidate, and whoever gets the highest percentage of the vote wins, even if they don't win a majority. I decided to go to a place where they do things a little differently. If the fairy and the lobster roll didn't give it away, I'm talking about Maine. The state has a system called ranked choice voting, where instead of voting for one candidate, voters rank the options in order of preference. It's been used for decades in other countries like Ireland and Australia, but it's fairly new to the U.S.
Ranked choice voting? Well, this is one of the few places that we have a little history of it.
I think it's exciting. It puts a little more power to the people.
It prevents a third candidate from becoming a spoiler.
It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you rank, however you like them.
Maine will be the first state in the country to use ranked choice in a presidential election in 2020. But it all started in the city of Portland.
The mayoral elections, these were the first elections we'd ever held in Maine that used ranked choice.
Ethan Strimling is the mayor of Portland, and he's currently running for re-election. He's already run for the office twice. He lost in 2011 and won in 2015, all ranked choice elections.
How does it change or impact the way that you campaign?
Somebody could easily win this race if there weren't ranked choice voting with 35, 36% of the vote. So that would mean that I could almost ignore the other 65% of the people out there. But because there's ranked choice voting, I can't ignore them. I have to talk to them as well because I need them to rank me second. And I find that once you have those conversations, you can begin to soften some of that gap. And our politics today needs a lot more softening of the gap.
Okay, so how exactly does ranked choice voting work? The best way to learn is to try it out. So I did, with some delicious local beer.
These are all IPAs. These are actually 4 very different beers.
We had 4 candidates.
Cheers.
Cheers.
10 people voted, including my producers. Now, to get a winner, the process works like an instant runoff. If no candidate gets more than 50% of number 1 votes, the candidate with the least support is eliminated, and the second-place votes from their ballots are distributed. And the process repeats until someone gets a majority. And advocates say voting this way for beer or candidates is more likely to lead to a winner that at least satisfies the widest group of people.
Post-ride snack has 40% of the first round.
Oh, wow.
Another one has 40% of the first round. Wolf's Neck has 20%, and lunch had 0%. So we go directly to round 2 then. The result here is, with the drum roll, the Wolf's Neck were reassigned, and another one is the winner with 60%.
Did anyone?
My first choice had been Wolf's Neck, which fell out. My last choice was Post-Ride Snack. So I'm happier with another one than I would have been if we had got stuck with Post-Ride Snack.
What is the goal of ranked choice voting?
I think one of the things it tries to achieve is the full expression of the voters' evaluation of the different candidates. If you choose one candidate who doesn't make it into the final round, you can still weigh in on those last 2 contenders.
Whenever I talk to voters, they talk about the frustration of having to choose a lesser of 2 evils.
I see this as a way of helping alleviate that constant struggle.
You can vote for the candidate that you are the most excited about without having to worry that by doing that, they're going to be a spoiler and you're accidentally going to help elect the candidate that you like the least.
I think it's good for democracy for People will be thinking beyond who's on my tribe and who's not on my tribe.
Even in this case with a beer, it's easier to put up with your second choice winning if you're confident that that second choice has the support of the majority of your fellow voters.
But not everyone feels that way.
I personally do not like it.
I believe the best man wins, whether it's by 25% or 50%.
The voting was easy enough, but it took a long time to figure out who won.
And it was kind of a contentious process.
It was a contentious process anyway, because the other fella didn't want to go.
That fellow is Bruce Poliquin.
It's a complete fraud. We've been voting the same way here for 200 years. One person, one vote. The person who gets the most votes on election day wins.
Bruce is a former representative from Maine's 2nd District. He lost his seat in 2018. But if you ask him,
I got more votes than my 3 Liberal opponents. I won.
The election had 4 candidates. 2 frontrunners, Bruce, a Republican, and Jared Golden, a Democrat, plus 2 independents. Bruce received more first-choice votes than his opponent, Jared, but he did not win a majority. So there was another round in which Jared Golden received enough second-choice votes to get over 50% of the vote.
They changed the goalposts. I won on election night, the way everybody else has in the state of Maine last 200 years.
You view this as unfair?
Well, of course it's unfair. It's chaotic, it's unfair. It's the biggest voter ripoff the state has had in its history. It ceases to become a competition between the most qualified people. Instead, it's how do we game the system to get additional advantage.
Bruce filed a lawsuit contesting the results and the ranked choice voting system. The district court ruled against Bruce, and his appeal was rejected.
Folks come up to me every day, and they say, Bruce, you know, I hate this thing. We got ripped off. There was massive confusion.
One of the big arguments around this is this third-party issue.
Ross Perot
issue.
issue determined the outcome of that election, and Clinton won instead of Bush.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I don't think Ross Perot is a problem at all. I don't think Jill Stein's a problem at all. This is America. If you want to run for office, you can run as a Democrat, a Republican, or any other parties that are registered in the states.
Bruce isn't wrong that there are some downsides. It can take longer to get a final result, 9 days in Bruce's election. It might require more effort in the voting booth to rank candidates rather than just vote for one. And although the ballot is pretty clear, it can sound confusing. And clearly, not everyone is a fan. But the people of Maine did vote for ranked choice. And here, Democrats were bigger supporters than Republicans, but in other states, it's the opposite. And just like any political issue, you'll find voters on all sides.
I love ranked choice.
The world's complicated enough without changing the voting principles.
Hopefully it'll become a national trend.
I mean, after all, Lincoln was elected with 38% of the vote. So it's okay, but I don't mind ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice voting is already in place in more than a dozen cities and will soon be implemented in a few more states. But ultimately, it'll be up to voters to decide whether it's time for a change and whether ranked choice is the right change to make.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.